Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to talk about thyroid health and how we can maintain a healthy thyroid function through nutrition even if we're not diagnosed with a thyroid disease. Now, as you guys already know, a healthy thyroid function and metabolism is much needed for a healthy sustainable weight loss, so that's why I decided to make a video on this, coming right up.
3, 2, 1.
By the way, if you're new here, my name is Sepi and I've lost about 50 pounds and I've been able to keep it off for the past few years. I'm so passionate about health and nutrition and I decided to make this channel to share all of my knowledge and experience with you guys. This channel is all about healthy, sustainable weight loss, so if that's something you're into, please make sure you consider subscribing. Have you ever felt like that you're doing everything right but you're not losing weight, instead you're gaining weight? Have you ever felt like that you're tired even when you wake up in the morning? Do you feel like you don't have energy to work out or do your daily tasks properly? Or maybe you have been prescribed by antidepressant medication as a result of all of this, or you're suffering from insomnia. If so, keep on watching because you might have some thyroid dysfunction, which I'm gonna go over in this video. I know that some of you might say, no, it's not my thyroid. I've already gone to my doctor and they've checked and they said that my thyroid levels are normal. But it might not be the whole truth. See, the problem is that when you go to a doctor in North America, if your thyroid level is between 0.4 to 4, it's considered normal. However, if you're anything above 2.5 or below 1, it's considered as an unhealthy thyroid function. Now, if you insist a little more and ask for a more thorough test, your doctor may think that you're crazy and label you as a difficult client. And then you're going to lose hope and you're going to just give up on everything and you're going to think this is normal life. But I'm here to tell you there's so much you can do to make sure and ensure that you have a healthy thyroid metabolism. Now, initially, I'm going to get a little nerdy and I'm going to talk about what hypothyroidism is. So if you're not interested in that, you could skip to the next chapter. And then I'm going to talk about how to assess if you have thyroid problems and then how to actually address it, and what to avoid and what to be eating. What is thyroid? Thyroid is the gland that sits above your windpipe. It actually connects your throat to your lungs. It's an air passage. And basically what it does is that it works with your pituitary gland, which is in your brain, and they're going to regulate your metabolism using a hormone called thyroxine. You might have heard of another name for thyroxine. It's called T4, which eventually turns into T3. Now, you could have an overactive thyroid, which is you're working way too hard to make up for the lost thyroxine, and that's called hyperthyroidism, which is when you have like a gland over here is going to start swelling up because it's working too much. Or hypothyroidism, which is the underproduction of thyroxine or T4, which is what we're going to mainly discuss in this video. Some of the main symptoms for hypothyroidism could be dry skin, hair loss, weight gain, water retention, so you feel a little puffy, fatigue, low energy, sluggishness, constipation, and maybe lower body temperature. Now, let's talk about some of the signs that we can notice on a daily basis. Number one could be having a lot of fat around the stomach. That could be a sign of fatty liver, and that's the main symptom of hypothyroidism. If you have a higher waist to hip ratio, that might be a sign of fatty liver. If you want to find that out for sure, you need to do an ultrasound so they can tell you for sure if you have it or not. There are some specific diets that will help you with fatty liver. Basically, as you're losing fat, visceral fat, you're going to lose the fat on your liver as well. One of the other alarming signs is that if you're attempting a very basic workout and you feel like you have no energy to a point that you get angry, why don't I have the energy to finish this workout? It's not even that hard. If that's the case and you're always low in energy, also doing other stuff, if you wake up with low energy and you don't have the will of doing anything in the morning, that could be a sign of hypothyroidism. Another sign would be insomnia. Let's say you've had a very long day and you've worked so hard and you're very tired, but when it gets to bedtime, you can't really fall asleep. That's a really big sign that you need to address your health, your hormones, and you gotta make sure your thyroid is healthy. Another visible sign would be if you're working out, you're dieting, you're doing everything right, 100% right. You haven't hit a plateau or anything. It's not your menstrual cycle, you're not having water retention, and your weight is still going up. If that's the case, and if it continues for more than a few months, then you need to really address it. You might have unhealthy metabolism, which is linked to your thyroid function. On the side note, I wanted to talk about why I don't like thyroid medication so much. I'm talking about T4 or Armour, which is a natural extract that most doctors actually prescribe to basically raise your T4 levels. Now, don't get me wrong, these hormones really do work. As soon as you start taking it, you'll feel a surge of energy, you feel like you're lighter, you're losing weight better, but in the long run, they put a lot of stress on your body. There was a study done between 2010 to 2016, so it took them 6 years to take the data. It was actually published in 2018 by Southern Medical Journal, and it talks about how 6.7% of people actually reported they had a lot of anxiety after taking the medication. So I'm not saying take my advice for it. If you have any kind of thyroid dysfunction, please make sure you talk to your doctor. Find a good doctor that is willing to talk to you, willing to test you, and willing to actually help you. We are here, guys. My favorite part of the video, we're gonna talk about how to maintain a healthy thyroid function. The first thing we need to pay attention to is to have a very healthy cortisol level. Stress is one of the main causes of unhealthy metabolism and an unhealthy thyroid function. So first of all, cortisol is a very, very important hormone. It is the hormone that wakes us up in the morning and gets us excited about life, has us motivated, we feel good, energized when we have cortisol in our body. Without cortisol, we will be depressed and we wouldn't want to do anything. It's also very important to mention that our bodies are designed to take stress. So let's say if you're shocked, you are attacked, or something happens, you're going through trauma, your body is actually very well designed to deal with stress. But what we need to be mindful of is chronic stress that most of us are going through right now. We wake up in the morning, we rush to work, we're really tired, we quickly grab breakfast, we don't have time to sit down and reflect, we don't go to nature, we don't enjoy life. All of these things are basically causing our body to be under a lot of stress. By the way, guys, I have a video coming out on how to manage stress through natural remedies and a lot of practices that I myself do on a daily basis to manage stress. I'm a very anxious person naturally, so I have to do a lot of practices to make sure I keep my cortisol levels very stable. So stay tuned for that. But for the purpose of this video, I want you to be very mindful of this. If you're the type of person who's very active, you're working out a lot, you're always rushing to work and doing a lot of things during the day, you have to be very careful to take the time, here and there, sit down, meditate, stretch, do yoga. These are very, very important, especially if you live the city life. Also, if you're very, very motivated, you're working hard, you're also working out, and you're trying to lose a lot of weight, make sure you take a few days off, take rest days. During your rest days, you need to be doing a lot of meditation and activities that calms your body, especially around your menstrual cycle. One of the mistakes that I made during my workout and weight loss journey was that I pushed myself through my menstrual cycles and I thought I was just so strong and I was doing so well. And then I realized it's really stressing my body and it's really putting me under a lot of pressure, and it really messed up everything for me. So I had to take a second back and really sit back and be like, okay, so you need to take some days off, maybe just do some dancing or yoga or some stretch or some walking maybe outside. And so you need to make sure you add in those activities to your daily routines. It's very, very important to be conscious. One of the most important things that you need to add to your diet is iodine. So if you're not gonna take anything from this video, take this one thing. Make sure your iodine level is normal. As an adult, you need 150 milligrams a day. You can find iodine in sea kelp, seaweed, shrimp, cod, and some companies that are American add iodine to their salt. And the reason for that is that a lot of people are deficient in it, so their health system decided to add that to their salt, so not so many people are deficient in it. It is so, so important to take iodine in your diet. Now, I was thinking about why cod and shrimp have iodine in them. Then I realized maybe the ocean water has some iodine. If you guys know about that, maybe let me know in the comments. I would love to know. Now, the next thing to add to your diet is selenium. You can find it in egg, tuna, Brazilian nut, and some legumes also have it in them. So make sure you look it up and add selenium to your diet as well. So the next essential mineral you want to add to your diet is zinc. Zinc is very underrated. They don't even talk about it enough, but it's so important for your metabolism. It's very important for your immune system as well. You can find zinc in shellfish, oyster, beef, poultry. You can find it in flax seeds and hemp seeds as well. I also wanted to talk about what can actually disrupt your healthy thyroid function. For example, if you have an unhealthy gut flora, that would disrupt your thyroid function right away. It would affect your metabolism and it would cause a lot of weight gain. So you have to make sure your gut flora is healthy. How do we do that? And how do we know we have an unhealthy gut? A leaky gut is a big sign of that. In order to make sure it's healthy, you have to have a lot of fermented foods such as sauerkraut, and you can also add a lot of probiotics and prebiotics to your food so you can make sure you have a healthy gut flora. Some of the things that you could avoid is artificial sweeteners, added sugar, and a lot of unhealthy processed food can actually cause and damage your gut flora. Some of the things you can do to fix that right away is actually keto or intermittent fasting. You can try that for 6 weeks and see that it does magic on your gut flora. Now, some of the food that you need to avoid if you suspect that you have an unhealthy metabolism is soybeans, soy food, and soy products in general. So if you're a vegetarian or vegan, I'm sorry, you need to avoid those for a while in order to make sure you get back to normal. Believe it or not, you actually have to avoid a lot of vegetables such as cabbage, broccoli, kale, cauliflower, spinach, and you also need to avoid a lot of sweet potatoes, cassava, peaches, and strawberries. And I know this is gonna sound crazy, but some nuts and seeds can actually disrupt your metabolic function, such as millet, pine nuts, and peanuts. If your goal is to have a healthy metabolism or specifically have a healthy thyroid function, I hope you enjoyed this video. I put a lot of time and research into these videos, so I really hope you guys enjoy it. If you did, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and let me know in the comments which one of these tips were most useful to you. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.